So I feel like this is a very important video that I'm about to do. Maybe one of the more important videos that I've ever done, because most of my videos are stuff that everybody already are familiar with. However, today I was keeping up on the news about our brothers and sisters in Palestine, and I came across a lot of evidence that would make it appear that Gaza was actually responsible for the bombing at the hospital. And this was shocking because I was very skeptical, because we all know that the Israeli IDF news media can't be trusted. Said that not only did they have the pictures, they had drone footage, and there was no crater, and there was they showed rockets that was flying over the area, and it seemed like the evidence was just piling up. And then I came across this article. So please don't take my word for it. Go and check out this article. And this just shows that America is in bed. We already know that they was in bed with the IDF, the Israeli Defense, but um, it just shows the length that they're willing to go to try to cover these things up. But the incompetence on the side of the IDF is laughable. So the article says that in the aftermath of the destruction, a blame game has begun. The Palestinian Ministry of Health and the hospital had been targeted by an Israeli airstrike. Hania Natali, a digital aide to the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, tweeted initially that the Israeli Air Force struck a Hamas terrorist base inside a hospital in Gaza. A multiple number of terrorists are dead. This is the initial statement that they made. Naftali then changed the story, calling the explosion mysterious, quote unquote mysterious, and saying it was either a failed rocket or something that was done on purpose in order to get international support. And this is a narrative that I'm finding pretty often, where the Israeli media is trying to make it seem like the Gazans are complicit in their oppression by several players, and like in addition to Hamas, like the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group, the PIJ, they say. So then Israel made an official response, and it denied responsibility for the attack and attempted to pin the blame on a misfire rocket launched by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group, the PIJ. So, and the main thing about this article is it's trying to point out to us that why so many of us are skeptical about these reports coming out of Israel. And it says the skepticism with which Israel's protestation of innocence have been met with is a result of years of misinformation put out by Israeli army in the wake of controversial attacks and killings. So they have a history of this. Shireen Abdul Ekle in 2022, which eventually came out that they did it. So they say, and this is one of the main reasons. And this is a journalist challenging the Israeli army. And this is, quote, in the past, this is the Israeli army. In the past, we were fast to go to conclusions. This is why on this event, we took the time. It took us more than 5 hours. We wanted to double check everything our army spokesperson said in response. So this is what and they pointed out that this initial response of the hospital attack has in many respects followed the pattern of previous incidents. And it has, where they jump to conclusions and they say this is the reason. And this is not how intelligence operations supposed to work. You can't just go by word of mouth for what you think happened. You're supposed to have, when they speak, we are assuming that they have a certain level of factual information that they're using to make these decisions. And I also want to just point out how this the article points to the fact that this hospital is Anglican run, so which are Christians. And a lot of people say, oh, religion is the reason for the conflict. All religious sects are so strict and Palestinians are intolerant. And this is a Christian run hospital in Palestine, in Gaza. But the Israelis would have you think that they are intolerant to any and everybody that's non-Muslim. And that's just not true. Now, this video already getting too long, so I'm trying to speed through it. But I wanted to point this part out. The Palestinian Health Ministry said it's on its Telegram channel that the hospital had received threats from Israel and ordered the people to either clear out or be bombed. And this is one of the things that the international community has been calling Israel out about, because you can't just move a hospital like this. People are sick and injured and all these different things. You can't just order them to move out. That's a crime against humanity, right? So it's a war crime. And of course, Israel is denying and making excuses. And this is something that they already wanted to do, was to bomb this hospital, but they've been being met with a lot of pushback. So they definitely have the motive and evidence to support that they wanted to do this. So it said they received threats from Israel to either clear out or be bombed, and was in fact hit with an airstrike on Saturday. That meant to be a warning for staff and patients to leave. So we all know that the rumor is that a rocket went out of control and that it landed in the hospital, and that's where the damage came from. That's what happened, and that's what Israel was sticking to. So now let's look at the evidence, because they even put up a phone call, which they have evidence that this phone call is a fake phone call. So if you haven't seen it, Israel released a phone, what they said was a phone call of supposed Gaza representative high officials saying that they messed up and that they made a mistake and they was behind the cemetery and they made a mistake and they believe that they did it. But let me show you the evidence that's in this article. So originally, Israel X account tweeted on Tuesday night what it said was evidence of the PIJ culpability in the attack, saying that from the analysis of the operational systems of the IDF, an enemy rocket barrage was carried out towards Israel, which passed through the vicinity of the hospital where it was hit. However, the original video version of the post included a video of rockets fired from the vicinity of Gaza City. The video was later deleted by the account, while analysts noted that the first public mention of the bombing were at 7:20 local time, whereas the video shared by Israel was evidence was timestamped at between 7:59 and 8 p.m. Local time. That same account shared audio on Wednesday from the Israeli army, claiming to be a conversation between Hamas operatives in which they discussed the destruction of the hospital and pinned it on the PIJ. And this is the evidence right here. But Mohammed Shahada, a Gaza-based civil rights activist who has reported on Hamas for a decade, posted that the quote had been mistranslated from "they're saying" to "we're saying." He's describing a rumor, not evidence, Shahada wrote, before going on to list other reasons for believing the audio was part of a campaign of misinformation. Alex Thompson, a correspondent for Channel 4 News, said several experts had told him the audio tape of Hamas operatives talking about the missile malfunction is a fake. They say the tone, syntax, accent, and idiom are absurd. So I'm just realizing that I didn't change the background. But if y'all want to read this, y'all can pause it. But y'all should look at this article and look at how the lengths that these people are going to in order to paint a false narrative, knowing that a lot of these things are said in public. They get spread, the audio gets spread, and then they end up later on redacting it, and it just stays on some website. Nobody ever listens, nobody ever goes back to check, and nobody ever goes back to read these things. And this narrative just spins out of control, and people are losing their lives over it. And this is unfair. This is irresponsible, and it's disingenuous. So I just pray that people are unbiased when they hear these different things and try to do their due diligence and verifying these things before they share it.